Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us here at JSP today for our latest webinar on PPE for forestry and landscaping environments. My name is Joe Bukowski, the UK Business Development Manager here at JSP. For those of you that don't know, JSP, we're a specialist UK manufacturer of neck-up, PPE, height safety and traffic management. And as I say, today's webinar is focusing on PPE suitable for forestry works and landscaping works. Now, how we're going to structure the webinar today, it's not going to be super slide heavy or presentation heavy. It's going to be very much to camera product presentation. I will be bringing up a few slides throughout to summarise what we've spoken about. So if you want to take a screen grab or anything like that, feel free to, but a recording will be shared with you following today. Please keep all questions to the end, should you have any. My colleagues Ray and Bridget that are sort of running the tech behind the scenes will open the chat up so you can ask any to answer at the end of this presentation. So as I say, the purpose of today is for us to go through the range of PPE from us here at JSP suited to forestry and landscaping works. I'm going to be going through each range at category level, so starting at head protection, hearing protection, respiratory protection and eye and face protection. Now you'll notice some of our products are fairly versatile and wouldn't be specific just to forestry and would be used elsewhere in industry, whereas others, particularly as we get down to the eye and face protection, are very much targeted towards the forestry and landscaping environment. So as I say, we'll go through all of those categories one by one with a view to demonstrate a complete neck-up solution for PPE for forestry and landscaping, with a real focus towards the end of this on compatibility and the harmonisation of your PPE selection, ensuring that your helmets work with your ear defenders work with your helmets, and your visors are tested with your helmet or brow guard, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's get into it. So to say, we're going to start with head protection, and what better place to start than with our two EN 397 options. So as I say, this is going to be focused product presentation today. You know, it's not the full JSP range. It's key products that I've picked out to talk about. So to start with, I want to talk about EN 397 protection. So that's ground level safety helmets for working at ground level. So start with, this is our Evo 5 global standard safety helmet. So the Evo 5 Olympus, it's a strong ABS lightweight shell, complete with our Revolution wheel ratchet. So lightweight and strong for all-day comfort. You know, ABS is a material. It's great for making lightweight safety helmets because we need less of that material to get the same performance that we would with, say, its HDPE counterpart. And as I say, we've got great adjustability with the Revolution wheel ratchet here. So it's 54 centimeters up to 64 centimeters in circumference, but we can increase that adjustability with our 3D adjustment. So I can actually unpop, you can just see there, the ratchet, and I can move it up and down those 3 points there. So that was at the top one. I can move it down to the middle. See, like so, and change the height of where that ratchet's tightening to. You know, we all have different head shapes. The circumference of our head changes. You move your hand down the back of your head, so you can get a real customized fit to you and your head shape. And as I say, these are EN 397 ground level working safety helmets. So that means they're not designed for working at height. We're testing this with a 5 kilogram mass dropped from a meter to the crown of the safety helmet. Now, the Evo 5 is a global standards helmet, so it also performs to other relevant international standards. But what I'm going to be doing today is keeping our focus when it comes to standards around the EN options. Moving to our other EN 397, we've got our Evo Vista. Now you'll notice off the bat, this looks very different to the safety helmet I was just holding, primarily due to the two-tone nature of the product. So this is our EN 397 Evo Vista Lens. Now, the purpose behind the two-tone here is to show you how we have manufactured an EN 397 safety helmet. The safety cell ends here where the white section of the safety helmet is. So what we've done is managed to fully integrate safety eyewear into a safety helmet without sacrificing performance of the safety helmet by making the shell longer. So by separating the smoke front, which is a visor housing for our integrated eyewear, from the safety cell here, but a really high performing strong ABS shell, again that 5 kilo mass dropped from a meter to the crown of the safety helmet. What I'm trying to say with regard to sort of making a safety helmet longer and why that might sacrifice some performance, if you imagine an egg that's really, say, strong vertically, but the minute you pinch it sort of laterally, it breaks. Similarly with the helmet, if we were to not have the separate visor housing, but make a safety helmet really long just to fit the visor up into it. We have a really weak helmet this way, which we don't have with the Evo Vista. Goes through the optional lateral deformation test, another sort of optional test as part of the EN 397 standard, where we squeeze the helmet a number of times, perform the same drop test, and ensure we get the same results, which ultimately, for EN 397, is to reduce the amount of force transmitted to the wearer's neck to below 5 kilonewtons, which is classed as a recoverable injury. In terms of adjustability, we've still got the 3D adjustment element in here, so I can remove that, adjust the height of the wheel ratchet. But with our Vistas, you actually get the new Gen 2 sort of Revolution Flex wheel ratchet harness. So really ergonomic wheel ratchet here. You can see increased solidity there. And also this white clean comfort pad at the back that actually adjusts like that to really suit the back of your head and conform to the shape of your skull. All of our helmets come with replacement inner Shamron leather sweatbands. So, you know, obviously increased hygiene there. You can take that out, put a new one in. And obviously I've mentioned integrated eyewear, so fully integrated Vista lens here to EM166B rating, which I will talk more about when we go on to the eye and face protection section of this webinar. We'll talk about the performance of the eye and face protection in the Vista helmet. So we've covered some ground level work on the safety helmets there. Now, in sort of forestry work, landscaping, harvestments, you know, working in teams, you have people working at height, people working at ground level, a real variety of tasks there. So what if we're working at height? What's the solution there? Well, the product I'm holding here is our Evo Vista Lens dual switch. So fully conforming safety helmet to two standards, EN 397, that we've established as ground level, and EN 12492, which is our mountaineering or working at height standard. So firstly, let's start off with the impact differences. This helmet is tested with that same 5 kilo mass dropped from 2 meters as opposed to a meter, with double the impact protection to the crown of the helmet, whilst also taking a 5 kilogram flat striker and dropping it from 50 centimeters to the sides and front and rear of the safety helmet. If we're working at height, we're not 100% sure where the impact is going to come from should we take a fall, so we need all-round protection, versus working at ground level, you can be pretty sure that if there were to unfortunately be an impact, it's going to be coming from above, so the wearer's head. So in terms of the impact protection, what you could say is it's just outperforming EN 397. You know, where is that difference between the mountaineering standard and the ground level working? Well, it comes with technology in our dual switch chin strap here. So you can see at the moment, I've got the strap in the mountaineering mode, okay, which is down. And if I flick it up, that's in EN 397. Hopefully that focuses a bit on there. Doesn't. There you go. There you go, EN 397. So when it's in that mode, pull it apart. It's around a 10 to 15 kilos worth of braking force there. Now, reason for that, if I'm working at the ground, I'm working on heavy machinery and plant, households alike, you know, touch wood, it wouldn't happen, but say the chin strap got caught into some kind of machinery, what you want is the chin strap to break, helmet to come off your head, and the operative to walk away. Okay, so that's the EN 397 mode. However, alternatively, we flick it down to the mountaineering standard. We have like 50 to 60 kilos worth of braking force, because if I take a fall from height and I'm swinging from a lanyard or something like that, don't know where the impact's going to come from. I need that helmet firmly on my head, keeping me safe. Again, with the Vista dual switch, or the Vista Lens dual switch here, we've got the new Revolution Flex wheel ratchet, so that same comfort pad, the same options for 3D adjustment we have with its EN 397 counterparts. Okay. So, Bridget, if we could just bring up the slide, the summary slide for the safety helmets, please. There you go, guys. So, just summarising the safety helmets we've gone over. So, Evo 5 Olympus or global standards hard hat, say centering around EN 397 today, but also other relevant international standards. Lightweight, 372 grams. And as with all of the helmets, that 3D adjustment for optimum comfort, the wheel ratchet. So our Vista lens, EN 397 head protection, none of that performance sacrificed with the elongation of the safety cell, as you can see illustrated in the image to the right there. New Revolution Flex harness with 3D adjustment, and all available invented and unvented. And then the dual switch counterparts of those two helmets. So the full, you know, the true multi-standard protection at the flick of a switch between mountaineering, you know, 12492 and working on the ground level EN 397 with that increased impact protection. So just a quick summary slide there. Bridget, if we could just drop that again. And what we're going to talk about now is bug caps and brow guards. Appreciate within this sector, a helmet isn't necessarily always required. You could be carrying out works where the chances of falling objects are pretty minimal, but the chances of creating an impact to your head through force created by the wearer, i.e. walking into low swinging branches and the like, could be pretty high. So you don't necessarily need a safety helmet, but you're still going to need your eye and face protection, and you're still going to want some degree of protection to your head. So that's where we look to bump caps. This is our hard cap Aerolite, true lightweight safety helmet, true lightweight bump cap with increased ventilation on the sides. So it's great for warm weather working, like what we've been having at the moment. Increases airflow across the top of the head, helping the body to regulate the temperature. Reflective strips down the side, great for sort of low light working. But also in terms of hygiene, this has got something in it called Polygene with these comfort pads here and in the sweatband, which basically neutralizes bacteria and reduces the amount of odor that reduces odor in the bump cap between washes. Obviously, it is machine washable at 30 degrees, but you don't want to be doing that every night or after every shift. So it's great to have that antibacterial properties to the cap. In terms of sort of quick dry, if we're wearing this outdoors in wet weather, it's a moisture wicking material which absorbs the moisture, dissipates it evenly throughout the material, allowing for quicker evaporation. Again, helping to keep the wearer cool and dry. But I'm still going to need some form of eye and face protection or hearing protection. Now we've got the Evoguard brow guard, really lightweight, 30% glass-filled nylon material with the Revolution Flex wheel ratchet. Really adjustable product as well. We've not only got the circumference there to tighten that up, as well as the adjustable points here to increase the height and whether it's sort of more towards the front or the back of the head. But we've also got inside here we can increase or decrease the actual size of the harness in width. So really adjustable product to create a well-balanced fit for the wearer. Fully compatible with our Forestry visors, polycarbonate visors, and our Sonis ear defenders as well. To say, we'll talk a little bit more about their performance as we move throughout the webinar. But really sort of unique to this, and I'll just sort of quickly demonstrate it. That fully compatible with our range of Aerolite bump caps. We've got it on a bit wonky there, but ultimately it gives you something to mount your ear defenders on and mount your visor on without having to sacrifice the option to have bump protection. Okay, so Bridget, again, just a quick summary slide on those two items there, to say for your benefit to take a screen grab should you wish to. So, Evoguard brow guard system, compatible with the bump cap, that lightweight glass-filled nylon weighing at just 210 grams, so it's not going to be cumbersome on your head. The maximum adjustability with the Revolution Flex wheel ratchet harness, but not only at the back, as we said, across the top of the head as well there. Certified to the relevant EN 1731 or 166 standard, dependent on the visor that's fitted. So, compatible with our polycarbonate Evoguard visors that we're not going to be touching on too much today because maybe slightly less relevant to this industry. So that's the EN 166 or the 1731 Forestry for the gauze and mesh visors, and our hard cap Aerolite, compatible again with the range of the brow guards there, as we see. One can work well with the other, and truly lightweight, 135 grams, that all-day comfort, the Polygene, antibacterial properties, and the moisture wicking material. Fully certified to that EN 812. And what I didn't cover actually was the impact testing on the bump cap. So it's a 5 kilogram flat striker drop from 25 centimeters across the top of the head there. So quick summary slide. So we'll move on now. Thank you, Bridget. And we're going to talk a little bit about hearing protection options from JSP. So we're focusing today on our Sonis range of ear defenders. So UK manufactured, and I'm going to focus on the mounted options. And so it's within these environments, forestry and landscaping, you're always going to need some form of head protection or brow guard or eye and face protection. So you need something to mount your ear defenders to. So the mounted Sonis range, we've got our Sonis ones, which are here, and you'll notice the high-vis green plate, which indicates that these are Sonis ones. Operating at an SNR, single number rating, so reducing our exposure to noise by 26 decibels. Always printed on the cup there. The range goes all the way up to 36. But in between that, we've got our Sonis Compact with the high-vis orange, again for easy identification on that traffic light system, and the SNR again. printed on the cup there, SNR31. And finally, Sonus 3s in high-vis red plate there for easy identification, and the SNR printed on the cup, SNR36 on the mounted. Now, I don't want to get too in-depth about sort of technicalities of hearing protection, how to select, but one important thing to take away is if you're working anywhere above 80 decibels and your exposure to noise above 80 decibels, that's when we start to class that as a dangerous level of exposure to noise, and we need to look at the endpoint of hearing protection without overprotecting. So the color coding of these makes it really easy to select alongside our selection guide, which will be on the slide that we'll bring up shortly, and I'll talk that through a little bit. In terms of longevity of the product, so we offer hygiene kits for all of our Sonus, which basically replaces the foam sealing ring here and the inner foam of the unit. A couple of benefits there. See, as the name suggests, it's hygienic. You know, owning personal protective equipment, PPE, for long periods of time, say a year, on and off in hot weather, you know, labour-intensive tasks. You're going to sweat. It's going to happen, and you know, potentially you might want to refresh the unit and you know, have that feel a bit like new without having to throw the whole thing away. So, from a sustainable perspective, you're reducing your waste, your buy waste, you know, your product waste from the ear defender. Also financially sustainable. You're not having to completely reinvest in new units all the time. Just to demonstrate how that works, so I'll do the Sonus 1. This is the section you remove. So the sealing ring and the foam. Say those are the bits that are the most sort of personal out of this PPE, and you can replace with what I made earlier. Again, sealing ring. Now, how you put these back together? You've got your cup, your Sonus, and that just clips in. Did you hear it click? And you want to put the foam in afterwards, and this is the same across the range. The reason is you can use your hand to just put it in the cup there, and you can then make sure that the inner foam is spread evenly around the cup, offering optimum protection. Okay, so the Sonus range fully compatible with all of our Evo safety helmets and our Evoguard. So if we're working above 80 decibels, we want to make sure we're looking at you know, potential hearing protection options or you know, noise reducing exposure to the noise. I mentioned a hearing selection guide, which I've got a great graphic on. So Bridget, if we could just bring up the next slide. That's great. So Sonus mounted hearing protection. So market leading range of premium range of hearing protection. So I mentioned the longevity with the hygiene kits, you know, combating the inevitable wear and tear of any kind of PPE with those. Available in a great range of performance levels from SNR 26 to 36. Now, said I'm not going to get super technical about hearing protection selection, but interestingly, decibels work on a logarithmic scale. So for every increase in 3 decibels, it's actually double the amount of noise, you know, prior to that increase. So whilst a range of sort of an SNR of 26 to 36, so only sort of a 10 decibel increase, may not seem like a lot, it's actually sort of, you know, double, threefold, if you like. The noise is double, threefold. The traffic light system allowing for easy identification and selection. So as you can see there, we've got the graphic, which is number of decibels down the on my left-hand side there, and number of hours per day spent doing a range of tasks there that you notice we align to the relevant plate color in the Sonus. So you know, looking at the top there, we've got chainsaws, wood chipper, leaf blower. We're looking anywhere from Sonus Compact up to Sonus 3s, regardless of the amount of time we're spending doing that. You know, due to the sort of the noise that they'll create, and the easy identification. You know, if you're leading a team of sort of you know, a forestry team of arborists or something, and you've got people in various locations at ground level working at height, and you need to make sure that they've got the relevant ear defender for the task that they're doing. At a glance, you can see that you've got some, you know, operative A in Sonus 3s that you needed because you can see the red high vis, and operative 2 in Sonus 1s because you can see the green. So fully compatible with the rest of our PPE, such as Evoguard and Evo safety helmets, and as well as being UK manufactured here in Oxfordshire. Now, I put a little a bit in there about communication units available, and you know, understand how they could be ideal for forestry teams working in different environments and lengths apart, and needing to be able to communicate with each other about, you know, not only what they're doing, but also potential risks that could be arising due to what's going on around them. So communication units are available with our Sonus Comms, which is a fully autonomous communication network through dynamic mesh communication. It's a self-healing network, up to 15 people on a team, and we're not requiring sort of any specific wireless signals, Ofcom licenses, anything like that. Fully self-contained, secured network. Now, say quite a technical bit of kit. Love to have a chat with you about it. Should it be something that you require? So feel free to give us a call on our sort of technical line or sales line that Ray will put in the chat towards the end of the webinar. See, across the range, all certified to the relevant EN 352 standard and the variations required depending on the product. So yeah, if we could just drop that slide now. And we're going to talk a little bit about the respiratory protection offering through JSP. So the selection today we're going to look at is our Foresight half mask. Potential risks within this environment, predominantly are going to be things like wood dust from, hand sawing and power sawing, or it's chainsaws, circular saws, whatever it may be, wood chipping, but also, people that are really hay fever sensitive, pollen sensitive, any kind of airborne contaminant, these high efficiency P3 filters are designed to filter out. So that's why I've chosen this to focus on today. So the Foresight half mask. So to start with, available in 3 sizes, small, medium, large, and does require face fit testing on a clean shaven face. So I understand I'm not the optimum person to demonstrate that today, but if you did catch our last webinar, I did have to sacrifice a beard for this. So yeah, not twice in a row. So yeah, the Foresight requires a face fit test, needs to be clean shaven, but what we've got with press to check, which my clean shaven colleague Ray is going to demonstrate for us in a moment, is a daily face fit reassurance where you're able to don the mask correctly, you pinch these filters here like so, shuts off the air supply, which means if you take a breath in, it should compress down to the face because there should be no leak in the seal. So Ray, if you can just come on camera, producer Ray, and he's just going to demonstrate the press to check close to the camera there. You can see how that's sucking into his face. What that means is there's no breach in the seal around Ray's face. Thank you very much for demonstrating that. Meaning that the air can only be drawn in through the filters. Now, keep mentioning PPE, personal protective equipment. I think half mask respirators and respirators in general could be on the upper end of that personal side, with it being very close to the nose and mouth. So maintenance, easy maintenance is key. So you notice I've taken the filters off, small 1/4 inch turn anti-clockwise. This product, aside from the filters, only 4 component parts. So we can remove our exhalation valve cover, our fully adjustable cradle, and the exhalation valve diaphragm. And then we've just left with the mask or a nasal that can be fully submerged in warm water, cleaned out, let to air dry or patted dry with a lint-free cloth, and then just as easily put back together. Got to make sure we do it correctly. So that's the side that goes into the mask, like so. That's in place. Make sure that it's flat down, and then cradle similarly just pops back on there, like so. And then as does the valve cover, making sure the JSP logo is the right way up, and we just turn it back on. Talking of the valve, it's our Typhoon valve, so you'll notice the gaps are only at the bottom and then either side of the respirator, not at the top. We understand that, if you're wearing a respirator of any sort, chances are you're going to be wearing some iron face protection, and what you don't want is hot exhaled air pushed up towards the visor or safety spectacles, where there could be potential hazard rays there of sort of misting up. So, efficient expulsion of CO2 from the mask. Yeah, and obviously a fully adjustable cradle. So just in here at the top, and also we can adjust here at the nape of the neck to make sure we get a good fit for the wearer. So yeah, that's our Foresight mask with the P3 filters. So Bridget can just get that summary slide up. So yeah, Foresight mask with press to check P3 filters, so certified to the relevant standard of EN 140 2001 or EN 143 2006. Basic reassurance with press to check. So that's what Ray demonstrated there. It doesn't replace the face fit test, but does allow, before entering any hazardous environment, to check the fit of the mask. Easy maintenance with only 4 component parts. Obviously fully adjustable and efficient CO2 exhalation and available in 3 sizes there. And what we will demonstrate shortly is the excellent compatibility with our range of safety eyewear, but specifically what we'll look at today is the Vista Lens product. Okay, thank you, Bridget. We've got that. So, last in terms of the category overviews, we're going to be looking at our eye and face protection options, and that'll be the M range of forestry visors in the Evoguard range. Start with that. So, in the Evoguard forestry range, we've got our Evoguard M1, our Evoguard M2, and the Evoguard M3. I'm going to go through in order. The M1 is the entry-level Evoguard forestry visor. Okay, this is made. It's a traditional sort of woven mesh visor out of nylon. You can see how it flexes there, and that is actually represented in the impact performance that it gets. So it's an S-rated visor, which is we test this by dropping a 43-gram ball from 15 inches just onto the visor, and obviously it can't breach it. It's got to repel that. In terms of visible light transmission, with forestry visors, it has to start minimum 20%. Our entry level is starting at 65%. So still, we're reducing glare from the sun. We've got that increased airflow, which is required with these visors. Obviously working in hot environments, labour intensive. You don't want any potential of the visor misting up, which is why we go for these sort of gauze materials. But 65% light transmission, I can still see through safely to carry out my work. Then move on to the M2. Which is again an interwoven mesh style visor, but of stainless steel or steel mesh. So you notice it's still flexing, but not quite as much. But it's still got the S-rated impact, which is I didn't quite touch it, but basically it's increased robustness with that 43-gram ball got from 15 inches. Visible light transmission for this visor is actually 70%, so another 5% visible light transmission. So we're still reducing the glare from the sunshine around us, but again, still able to work safely. Now, moving up to the M3, where we're really going to notice a difference here, because this is actually, if you look, we've got really sort of minimal flex there, because this is made out of one singular piece of stainless steel that we've actually laser etched the gauze into. So what we're able to achieve with this is an F-rated impact protection, which is the equivalent to safety spectacles and the like. So you're actually testing this with a 45 meters per second impact from a 6mm steel ball bearing. So much higher impact protection there, and also 80% visible light transmission. So if I actually sort of stand back and hold this up, sort of on the camera there, it's almost like there's actually nothing there. So you've still got a little bit of glare reduction, but really excellent visibility through that visor. So you've got nothing getting in your way and potentially causing risk by not being able to see what you're doing. So really excellent visible light transmission. Now, you notice all of those visors have one thing in common. They're a gauze or a mesh, which means there's lots of, albeit small, but holes within the visor that could potentially allow small particulate, from strimming, things like, unfortunate events of, say, hitting dog mess, slugs, something like that, wet mess, come up and actually go through the gauze and potentially hit you in the eyes. So dual eye protection is of paramount importance with undertaking any sort of forestry work and any work we're going to be wearing a forestry visor, which is why compatibility with our range of Evo Vista Lens or Evoguard brow guards, we'll start with the Vista Lens, is of paramount importance, because the Vista Lens, what we've got here is a K&N coated injection molded polycarbonate lens that's impact tested to EM 1661B rated. So that's 120 meters per second impact, 6mm steel ball bearing across the lens. Great for use with power tools, but it's also going to stop unfortunate messes that aren't necessarily impact dangerous, but you definitely don't want in your eye, and small particulate. So high speed particles that could have potentially breached the S-rated visors. It's going to stop and not get in your eye. So dual protection of paramount importance, and that's obviously integrated to the Vista lens product that we spoke about earlier. In terms of variety, we also offer a tinted option for sunny weather like we've been having here in the UK recently, and fairly easy to replace. So you can see here you've got a catch on the product, and you can just uncatch it there and catch it there. That's your lens out. I want to swap the two around, just line it up correctly. And then there's the housing there for the for this section of the lens. You just slide that in, click, slide it again, click. You know, you've swapped out your eye protection, you've got a little bit of sun protection there, and you've still got that B-rated impact protection. So that's great. Obviously, if you've got a Vista helmet and that's the option you've chosen to go with, but if you haven't, you've gone for an Evoguard because the risk doesn't indicate that you need a safety helmet, but you do need some bump protection or face protection. You've got our Evo Spec, which is a safety spectacle equivalent shield, compatible with all of our Evo safety helmets, and the Evoguard, offering EM1661F rated impact, which basically is 45 meter per second impact, 6mm steel ball bearing, and this is available in clear and tinted as well. Just to sort of demonstrate that, I've got one here in this brow guard. Obviously, I've got no visor on it at the moment, but and obviously, great thing with the Vista there is the flexibility with prescription eyewear. Obviously, I had to take mine off, but that just drops down onto my face, and then I can put it up and away into the brow guard as and when I don't need it. So you've got your dual protection options there, dependent on the product that you've decided to go with. Put these back on so I can see what I'm doing. So yeah, that's our eye and face protection offering there. So we can just have a quick glance at the summary slides there. So we've got the Evoguards down the side with the relevant impact ratings. So with the S with the 43 gram ball from 15 inches, the light transmission, so 65% through to 80. Compatibility with the Evo range of safety helmets and the Evoguards. See varied mesh materials, so woven nylon mesh, stainless steel mesh, and etched stainless steel mesh visor. The Vista lens, obviously all of the lenses are certified EM1661B, so that 120 meters per second impact on an injection molded polycarbonate panoramic visor, which is K&N, which is anti-scratch, anti-mist. And I'll demonstrate that actually just when the slides dropped in a moment, just how effective that is. The Evo Spec, see slightly lower impact, but great flexibility for the range of Evo helmets should you already have one, or wish to go for, say, an Evo 5 or something, or an Evoguard. Certified to that F-rated impacts, that 45 meters per second, still available in clear and tinted. So, Bridget, if we can just go to the next slide. Compatibility is key. So what I want to demonstrate now, after having gone through the products more in sort of specific detail, is bringing them together to create, as I say, that neck-up solution, whether you're going for a safety helmet or a brow guard option. So if we can just drop the slide, please. Just as I said, to demonstrate, absolutely no misting on the K&N visors there. So ideal for warm working environments. Now, let's start with, I'll just get these out of my way. So we'll start with selecting our head protection. So in this instance, I'm going to need a safety helmet. So I'm going to select the Evo Vista dual switch because I've got the flexibility now to be working at ground level at EN397, on the switch here. We remember, or flicking it to 12492 if my work then takes me up that height. And I've already got my dual protection with the built-in B-rated panoramic impact lens. So I then need to select my ear defenders. Now, as we saw on that selection graph, it's here, pretty much we're at the higher end of the spectrum when we're working with chainsaws, wood chippers, and let's say that's what I'm doing in my day-to-day. So we can go for our Sonus 3 ear defenders. Now, those mount really easily onto the Vista range. So we take our Sonus clip, the Euro slot, the camera there, here, and those just mount in like so. So we want to just make sure that's in the upright position like so. Flip it in. There we have it. It's gone down. We're just going to do the same on the other side. So that's in. We heard that click. So I've got my helmet, mounted my ear defenders, my eye and face protection already built in there, my secondary eye and face protection. Got my respiratory section of the Force 8, which we are going to have a visit from Ray again, who's going to demonstrate all of this in a moment. So put that to one side. And then lastly, we're going to select Forestry Visor. I'm going for the M3. We've got that increased 80% visible light transmission, or transmittance, sorry. And what we do is just on these Evoguard, you've got these great, easy, self-lubricated attachment points. They're just really, really ergonomic to use. So I'm going to, in the upright position, and you'll notice on the ear defender, you've got these little tunnels here. You can just see the white of my shirt through there. We're just going to slide that into place until it clicks. And you can see out the back there, the Evoguard coming. So we do the same again on this side. Click. So I've now got secondary eye protection, Forestry Visor, ear defender, safety helmet, conforming fully to 2 standards. So I'm pretty much ready to go. So I'm just going to bring this colleague Ray in. We'll just get you to put this on, Ray. Yeah. Okay. Now, key thing we've done here with the chin strap, which I'll demonstrate when Ray does it up, we've made a nice large enough gap between the strap. Actually, if you just stand there, Ray, I can just point it out. You can stand side on for me, the camera. But nice large enough gap here. So when we drop the ear defender down, if you just do that, Ray. Okay. And just with the palm of your hand, click them into place. Yeah, hear that click. You'll notice that we're able to, if you don't mind me manhandling it slightly, bring that chin strap out both sides. So what we're not doing is breaching that seal of the ear defender. So you can turn face the camera, Ray, bring that visor down and just take, bring the lens down, sorry, your Vista lens down. And now you'll notice how you can ratchet that up. You know, it works perfectly here with the Force 8 because it's both TPR material, so you get a great seal with the Force 8 and the Vista lens. So we're not impacting the seal of the respirator. We just take a step back and pull the gauze visor down gently and just give a bit of a spin to demonstrate the compatibility of products altogether. So harmonizing that selection and ensuring it all works together, one means you're going to be comfortable when applying this in the working environment, but also it just makes it so easy to put together. So Ray, if I can get you to just decamp that off your head. Wonderful. Yeah. That's fine. And just back to me. I will call you back in just 2 moments because we're going to demonstrate now. I mentioned different risks require different types of protection. So if we didn't need a safety helmet, 9 times out of 10, we're still going to need a rear defender. We're still going to need our brow guard. We're still going to need secondary eye protection. But we don't necessarily want to just have to ditch all of this because it doesn't work with our brow guard, for example. So what I can do is I can actually just remove the Evoguard here. So I've got my M3, take my Sonus 3s off, store my helmet safely away to one side. Then I'm going to get my brow guard. I'll just demonstrate quickly. So with the Evoguard, I mentioned these attachment points. So if I just pull this, try to do it this way so you can see, all the way down like that, comes off, which is intentional. And then got here the attachment points for the brow guard, which are really straightforward to put on. Just excuse me, like so. And that clicks up into place like that. Do the same on the other side, like that. And then what we're able to do is just clip it into, we've got special visor attachment points here. And that's the one for the, oh, wrong way, and that's the one for the ear defenders here. So we just click these in. Like so. If I put it on the right side. Making sure. Yeah. the interest of time, go for the blue Peter moment. It's one I made earlier. So, as you can see, we've got the Sonis attached in the Euro slot there, and the Evoguard goes in the bespoke Evoguard slot there. Right, if I can just call you back, please. And I'll provide you with a bolt cap, brow guard, yeah, the defenders down, brow guard down. We have it and just give a bit of a turn. Thank you very much. So that's the ability to switch the visors between the two. Issues of live performance there. Getting my sides mixed up, then yeah, just made a bit of a slip up there. So thank you for that, Ray. If we can just bring up the accessories slide, please. I just want to go through those quickly, and then I'll show a physical demonstration of those. So we've got a range of sort of accessories for different weather environments, if you like. The Evoguard brow guard sun cape, so water repellent coating, preventing the cape becoming sodden. So the idea is water beads, runs off the cape, not down into the wearer's neck, and also the cape itself doesn't become sodden, wet, and potentially making the wearer cold. Also offers UV50 protection from sun rays and compatible for use with ear defenders, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. We've then got a neck cape for the Evo safety helmets, which is again UV50 protection, waterproof to ensure water's not running down the wearer's neck, but can go over the clothes and run off. Again, not putting water down like your neck, but also offering that sun protection. The throat cover, designed to go on the brow guard visors, which offers, it's enhanced additional coverage, from the likes of low-hanging branches, low-speed particles, things like that. So if it's not an impact protection, but it's to stop potential damage to the wearer's neck, in sort of foliage dense environments, if you like. And for the colder months, the SureFit thermal safety helmet liners. So fully tested and compatible with the range of brow guards and safety helmets, reducing the need or the want for people to put things like Carhartt beanies and the like on under their safety helmet, which not only creates a risk for the wearer because it means the safety helmet isn't securely fit to the head and could fall off, but also a risk to those around them, because if you're working at height, your safety helmet falls off, that then becomes a falling object to those below. So if we can just drop the slides, please. So start with the Evoguard neck cape. So as you can see, I just put that on. Within here is a skeletal frame to get a nice comfortable fit. Then take a brow guard, put it on. Now, as you can see, here I've got holes for if I wanted to drop my ear defenders down. But if I wasn't wearing ear defenders, like at this moment, at the back, I can unvelcro that, and then it comes round and just here, line those up, and then I've got on the other side there, I've then got full coverage there to the ears, so full sun protection, and as I say, water repellent. Brow guard neck cape, sun cape, sorry. Then I've got the UV50 sun cape, high vis orange. And as you can see, if I were to have this mounted to a safety helmet, runs down the back of my neck like so, not into my shirt or into my clothes, running the water off and away, whilst also giving me protection from the sun to avoid any sunburn. Then got that throat cover, as I said, it's designed to be mounted to the bottom of the Evoguard visors. So it sits here, covers that section of my throat, where of course I don't want any low-hanging brambles, branches, anything like that to scratch me up and cause me any damage. So increased, enhanced protection and coverage. And then we've also got the range of beanies, so available in black and high visibility orange. Now, forgive me, they're not the most flattering to put on without a safety helmet. But when they're on, I know that then I can take any of our Evo safety helmets, and that is securely fitted to my head. It's not going anywhere. Unlike a beanie that say hasn't been tested and could create a slip hazard for the safety helmet to fall off and create a risk to me, the wearer, because my head's then unprotected, but also a falling risk should I be working at height or above anybody that falls and could potentially harm them. That is it for the physical product overviews. I really hope it's been a benefit. We now open the chat to any questions really.